Recently, I had this amazing revelation about self-discipline. And in today's short video, I'm going to be talking about that and why self-discipline is the key to unlocking the success you're desiring to experience. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back. My name is Dom, and I help people to step into their truth and power. In today's society, self-discipline is often a touchy subject to read about, to think about, and even worse, to talk about. The word discipline kind of has taken on a bad rap, and I believe it's because nobody likes to feel like they're being disciplined. But hopefully, as kids, we were faced with it growing up as our parents did their best to guide and train us to be self-sufficient, productive adults. But with the freedom that adulthood allows us to experience, we tend to want to avoid having to face discipline in our lives. Most of us don't like being told what to do. I know I don't, and I'm sure you don't either. Whether it's from our boss at work, a trainer at the gym, a financial advisor, a spiritual leader we follow, or sometimes even from God Himself, we feel the resistance rise up. Because why? The hard truth, it's because it means that we have to take full ownership and responsibility for the choices we've made and that we're going to make. But there is actually something we can do in each of our lives to lessen the discipline that comes from others, which we often tend to resist. And it's developing self-discipline. When I took a look at the word discipline, I actually had this amazing revelation. I saw something in the word which I never saw before. When looking at the word, I noticed that the word discipline is actually being a disciple for one's self. Discipline is actually being a disciple for oneself. And when I realized this, I was like, whoa, that is a completely different way to think about discipline. Discipline, or what I prefer to call now self-discipling, is a proactive measure we can take in our lives that will limit the reactive nature of being disciplined from outside sources. I mean, let's be honest. Have you ever actually enjoyed being disciplined by somebody? Of course not. And so we're always seemingly fighting with ourselves about becoming more disciplined. Isn't it true? So are you open to changing this paradigm? If you are, type I am in the comments below. Type I am in the comments below. In an effort to help change the paradigm, I couldn't help but look up the word discipline in the dictionary of Bible themes. I got really curious, and it actually defined discipline as loving and corrective training that leads to maturity and responsibility on the part of those who experience it. Self-discipline, or self-discipling, is exactly this. The loving and corrective training coming from ourselves as we train our minds and bodies to do what is best for ourselves. The key isn't to become disciplined. Again, we're constantly fighting against ourselves with that. So instead, the key is to self-disciple oneself to make the right choices in our lives more often. That'll lead us to positive results. And so this shift in perspective in regularly exercising self-discipling is the key for ensuring we get to experience the next level in our lives. Self-discipling actually prepares us for what's next. There's another Bible verse that comes to mind. I think it's Luke 16. Don't quote me on that. But it says something like, if you are faithful in the little things, you will be faithful in the big ones. But if you are dishonest with the little things, you won't be honest with the greater responsibilities. Well, this isn't just a biblical principle. It's actually a universal one too. One of the universal principles for advancement is the requirement to be diligent with what we have and where we are, before we get to advance to bigger and better things. Being faithful requires self-discipling. When we're kids, our parents know that if we aren't disciplined to take care of what we have, they are going to be a lot more resistant to give us more. Well, God and the universe works this way too. If we aren't disciplined to take care of that which we already have right now, not just the material things, but our body, our family, our career, our financials, then we will not be ready for God and the universe to bring us more responsibility and more influence into our lives. Being faithful and using well what we've already been given is not easy, and it doesn't come naturally. It requires work. It requires work and discipline to make the right choices at the right time each day. Just like students in school need to be disciplined to do their homework and study for their tests in order to advance to the next grade, we too need to have the discipline to do what it takes to be ready for the next level that God and the universe has in store for us. Self-disciplining actually keeps us healthy and growing. There's another reading, I think it's in Corinthians, that says something like, I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. I know I want to be a positive influence on the people I'm in association with, and I'm sure you do too. But it's hard to be that if we say one thing and we happen to do the opposite. But I know when I'm living in alignment, not only is it easier, but man, it feels really good too. When we're talking about our physical health, it can be really easy to think of self-discipline as an act of vanity. I mean, after all, the average person out there will only go to the gym and choose to do a diet to lose weight or to look better, which is why actually they often don't stick with it, because that motivation won't keep you for the long haul. However, taking care of our physical health is actually extremely important to our spiritual lives too, because if we are sick and exhausted, we physically can't do the things that we're divinely being called into to do. And so we'll find ourselves feeling held back or stuck. By discipling ourselves to be more active and more mindful in how we eat, to give our body the fuel it needs, and to give it the rest that it needs to carry us through, we are then able to experience ourselves living in alignment and experiencing more success in our lives. Now, obviously, physical health is very important, but it's just one aspect of our health in our lives. Spiritual, emotional, and even social health all bring balance to our lives and help us to live out the lives that God and the universe wants us to live. We need to self-disciple ourselves to prioritize quiet time and to spend quality time with our family and our friends. These things won't just happen in our lives if we don't make them a priority. Our humanness, our flesh, is constantly waging war against us and our desires to do the right things. So discipling ourselves is the process of showing up to do what we know to be the right thing or best thing for ourselves, in spite of not feeling like it. And when you do that repeatedly over time, you'll become stronger, you'll become wiser, and more resilient, which leads you to experiencing the success and abundance you're seeking to have in your life. So I'm curious, what really resonated with you in today's video? In what aspect of your life do you feel you need to become a better disciple of yourself for? I invite you to share that in the comments below because I'd love to be able to support and encourage you. And if this was helpful to you today, I'd like to take a moment to also invite you to join my brand new free online community, ProEmpowerment Online. I'm sharing more valuable content in the newsfeed of that community each week, but even more, you'll have the ability to join in the conversation in a place where you can feel free to share with like-minded people without feeling judged or being shut down or censored for your beliefs. To join me in the community, it's 100% free. Just click on the ProEmpowerment Online link in the comments and description box below. I'd love to see you there, and I look forward to connecting with you in the community. And so with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I love you for being here and sharing. And until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.